Today we have a very interesting program, the LBS Letters Appendix 2. This is the very last part of the book, literally the last few pages. And we have our Vibhaji to help us through understanding these letters. So without any further delay, let's go into this very complex letters, question and answers from Sinnet to Mahatma KH. Yes, Vibhaji, please start your session.
Thank you so much, Vimalji. And namaste and good evening to everybody. Today, we will be studying the last of the letters written by the Mahatmas to AP Sinnet. And this occurs as part of Blavatsky letters to Sinnet. But because it is actually the answers given by Mahatmas to Sinnet and Hume, therefore it has been included as Appendix 2 in this book, the letters of Masters of Wisdom to AP Sinnet. And this appendix, it primarily contains the questions which were put by AP Sinnet or AO Hume to their teachers. And they received the answers from the masters. In some of the places, the pupils, that is either of these, Sinnet or Hume, they have stated their own ideas in order to obtain a confirmation or a comment from the masters. So I have created the slides for these letters, and I have put the questions asked in a different color and the answers given in a different color by the master so that we can differentiate between the two. And please allow me to share the slides with you. Okay. So this exchange of question and answers, it happened in January 1882. And these are called by Sinnet the cosmological notes. These have been taken from AP Sinnet's manuscript, his book. And the first question which was put to the master was, what are the different kinds of knowledge? The answer given was the real Digyu and the unreal Digyu me. So you see in these question and answers, a lot of Tibetan terms have been used, and where possible, the meaning is given. These Tibetan terms, which are written in English, they are literally the transliteration. We do not know actually how they are pronounced. So master is saying that there are these two kinds of knowledge, Digyu, which is real, and Digyu me, the unreal. Digyu becomes Fohat when in its activity. Active agent of will, electricity, no other name. So very clearly, knowledge, which is stated to be of two kinds, real and unreal. And in the secret doctrine, Madame Blavatsky has described this Digyu, that is the real knowledge. She says it is the one real magical knowledge or occult wisdom, which deals with eternal truths and primal causes. That is the real knowledge. And when this knowledge is applied in the right direction, it becomes almost omnipotence or all-knowing. This is what she has described about real knowledge in Secret Doctrine. In this case, Digyu is the expression of the collective wisdom of the Dhyani Buddhas. And also, mind you, in the Secret Doctrine, the real knowledge Digyu, it is spelled as D-Z-Y-U, Dizyu, instead of Digyu. And its antithesis, that is the unreal knowledge, it is Dizyu me, that which deals with illusions and false appearances. She says that in our exoteric modern sciences. So that is Dizyu me. Because this modern science, it accepts empirical evidence only. That is information gathered through observation, measurement, experimentation. But such information, it relies only on the sensory experience of the physical world. Hence, it is quite incomplete from the standpoint of occult knowledge. Now, using the 5 physical senses, It is not possible to know the world as it exists in reality, and hence it is called elusive knowledge. This real knowledge, that is Dizu, it becomes fohat when in activity, meaning when the time for manifestation dawns. That is the time of activity. Fohat, it is the active agent of will. Fohat is cosmic electricity. Now here the will refers to the will of the universal one life, the one reality, which in turn is the will of the primordial seven. The primordial seven rays, they are the seven Dhyani Buddhas. So the will of the one reality or of the seven Dhyani Buddhas. Okay. And they are on the highest planes of existence, those seven Dhyani Buddhas. In them are the seeds for everything that is in the universe, including the sum total of the real knowledge of the universe. So Fohat, that is the cosmic electricity, it becomes the vehicle of these seven. It becomes the messenger of their will. The next question is, what is the difference between the two kinds of knowledge? The real knowledge deals with eternal verities. Eternal verities are the eternal truths and the primal causes. So manifestation is a chain. It's a chain of cause and effect. There is the first cause, which is the causeless cause, and its effects, they themselves become the causes on the next lower level. So these causes, they become the causes of the next lower level of effects. The highest causes, they are the primal causes, and knowledge about them is the real knowledge. The unreal knowledge, it deals only with illusory effects, effects which are experienced by the senses on the phenomenal planes. Digyu, which is the real knowledge, it deals only with it. The real knowledge, Digyu, it stands independent of the belief or unbelief of man. Whether you endorse it or you do not endorse it, the real knowledge stands as a fact.
Hello.
Why? Because truth is unchanging. Whereas Digyumi, it
Hello.
requires faith. It rests on authority because it depends on sensory experiments. And it can be different for different people because experiences are different. So it requires an authority to say that, no, this is what is true or this is the fact. The next question posed was, who possesses the real knowledge? The answer given by the master is the Lhas. The Lhas or adepts who possess, they alone possess the real. And his mind is in rapport, meaning in harmony with the universal mind. So who are the Lhas? The Lhas are the beings of the highest spheres. In fact, the capital of Tibet, it is called Lhasa. And there the title of La, this title of La was given to the highest yogis or the highest saints who have attained great occult powers. And the adepts. Adept we know is the aspirant, the yogi who has attained the fifth initiation. He is the perfected man. He is the Jivan Mukta Siddha Purush. He is the adept. So such Lhas or adepts, they alone possess this real knowledge. And their mind, it is in harmony with the universal mind. The Lhas has made the perfect junction of his soul with the universal mind in its fullness, which makes him for the time, a divine being, existing in the region of absolute intelligence, knowledge of natural laws or DQ. So these Lhas or adepts, in their duration of their deep concentration, they are able to touch the universal mind, gaining access to the universal intelligence and all the knowledge about the universal laws. This is the real knowledge or Digyu. The profane meaning who are not spiritual, who are materialist. So the profane, they cannot become a dangma, meaning purified soul, the one whose third eye is opened. Dangma is the third eye. So the purified soul whose third eye is opened. The profane, they cannot become a dagma, for he lacks means of perceiving chag, genesis or the beginning of things. So such a person who's a profane, whose third eye is not opened, he is unable to perceive the genesis or the beginning of things. His mind is unable to touch the higher spheres, that is the universal mind. So he does not harmonize with the universal mind and cannot know those universal laws or the universal truths of the beginning. The next question posed to the master is there any difference between what produces primal causes and their ultimate effects? The master answers, none. Everything in the occult universe, which embraces all the primal causes, is based upon two principles: cosmic energy, that is fohat or breath of wisdom, and cosmic ideation. Dhyan kam, which is the knowledge of bringing about. Bringing about what? Knowledge of bringing about cosmic ideation. Rather, Dhyan kam itself is the arising of the cosmic ideation, giving the impulse to cosmic energy. Cosmic energy is fohat. So it gives the impulse to cosmic energy in the right direction. In fohat, all that exists on earth as ultimates exists as primates. Now, what does this mean? It means that all the ultimate effects which are seen on the physical plane, they already exist as primal causes on the plane of fohat. Madame Blavatsky has described fohat in The Secret Doctrine in volume 1. She has described it as the energy through which the ideas of the universal mind are impressed upon matter. That is how the phenomenal worlds, they differentiate, they unfold according to the idea in the divine mind. And how they are able to unfold these material or the phenomenal worlds? By that energy, which is fohat. So fohat is impressing these ideas of the universal mind onto the matter. For example, consider the example of a basketball. Okay, so the thought in the mind of the player is that the ball must go through the hoop. You have to throw the basketball into the ring or the hoop. Okay, that is the thought in the mind. Now, that player will hold the ball and will throw it. So it will give a energy. Energy is the force given to the ball as it is thrown in the direction of the hoop. Okay, so this is the primal cause, the energy which is given. And the effect in physical plane is that the ball which is thrown will actually pass through the hoop. So that is the ultimate effect. So primal effect, or sorry, the primal cause, that was in the energy which was imparted to the ball while throwing it. That is equivalent of the fohat. And the final effect is that the ball passes through the hoop. So the whole thing by analogy can be applied to the ideation in divine mind and the energy fohat, which impresses this ideation on the matter or substance. Now, the important point to note is these two principles: cosmic ideation, which is divine thought or consciousness, and the cosmic energy, which is fohat, also which has been called electricity, cosmic electricity. It is the messenger or the carrier of this thought or of this will, divine will. And this energy, it is impressing this ideation on matter. So energy works in and through matter according to the divine will. So matter or cosmic substance, that is the third principle or the third aspect of this trinity: consciousness, energy, substance. That is how manifestation happens. And this trinity, it exists and it works at all levels, or on all the planes. For example, on the physical plane, we are physically conscious. So physical consciousness is there. The physical energy is the energy which you provide by whatever. If you're working, the actions of your hands, they are providing that energy. And you're working using the physical substance. So consciousness, energy, substance. The same thing applies if you go to a higher plane, say mental plane. So the mental consciousness, that is the thoughts, they have the mental energy which works on mental matter or mental substance. So consciousness, energy, substance, this is the trinity which forms the worlds of different planes. Now coming to this fifth question. The question was, what is the one eternal thing in the universe independent of every other thing? Now to this, Mahatma Ji answers space. So here space means the eternal space, the eternal thing which is independent of every other thing. And this eternal space is Mool Prakriti. Mool Prakriti is the veil over Parabrahma. Mool Prakriti is that eternal space in which periodically the cosmos manifests and is reabsorbed. So then the next question was posed, what things are coexistent with space? Now Mahatma Ji has given 5 things which are coexistent with space. The first is duration. So here duration means eternal time. Second is matter. Matter is substance. Matter is eternal. It is substance. The third is motion. For this, the imperishable life, conscious or unconscious, as the case may be, of matter, even during the pralay or night of mind. So eternal motion is same as life, the one life. And motion here means the imperishable life of matter. It pervades matter as conscious life during the period of manifestation, and it pervades matter as unconscious life during the time of pralay, meaning it is latent. Okay, but that motion is always present. It is the one life, whether conscious or unconscious. That means during manifestation or during pralay. So therefore it is also eternal and therefore coexistent with space. Further, Mahatma Ji has mentioned, when Chiang or omniscience and Chiang Mi Shi Kon, that is ignorance, both sleep, this latent unconscious life still maintains the matter. It animates in sleepless, unceasing motion. So omniscience is totality of manifested knowledge. Knowledge and ignorance, they are a duality. And this duality, it characterizes manifestation. Both are absent, meaning both are sleeping, knowledge and ignorance. When are they sleeping? They are sleeping when the cosmos is unmanifest. So that is the time of pralay. But even during pralay, this motion or the life, it is pervading and maintaining matter in a latent state. So this motion, it is eternal. It is present even during pralay. Now continuing the answer to which this question was asked, what things are coexistent? We have already seen 3 things, duration, matter and motion. The fourth thing is the Akash. The Akash, which is called Barnang or cosmic atmosphere or astral light. Now, understand why Mahatma Ji is saying astral light, because astral light is a differentiation of Akash. Akash is said to have 7 differentiations. Astral light is the lowest differentiation. So, Akash or cosmic atmosphere or astral light or celestial ether. This is Mahatma Ji saying this is also coexistent with space. Now this, whether in its latent or active condition. Latent means in the state of pralay and active means during manifestation. So whether in its latent or active condition, It surrounds and interpenetrates all matter in motion. Motion, we said, is the imperishable life, which is sustaining matter. So this Akash too, it is interpenetrating all matter in motion, surrounding and interpenetrating. And of this, Akash is at once a result and the medium by which the cosmic energy is Fohat. So this cosmic energy acts on its source. So what does this mean? It is quite a complicated thing here, what Mahatma Ji is telling. Let us try to simplify and understand. We said that consciousness, energy, substance, this trinity, it is working on all planes. And of course, it has its source in unity, in the one life. So cosmic energy, that is Fohat, it acts on the screen of cosmic consciousness, which results in Akash, which is the first cosmic substance or element. And along with matter and motion, this Akash is also eternal. Now, if you see, the same concept is expressed in the Hindu philosophies and using some different terms. The cosmic energy, it is called as the word or the sound, Shabda Brahma. And acting on the screen or substratum of cosmic consciousness is called as Brahma Chaitanya. So this Shabda Brahma, which is the energy, it is acting on Brahma Chaitanya and it results in Akash, which is the first cosmic element. So this concept you will find in every philosophy in the form of Shiv or Shakti or Bindu and Nad or even Chid and Chid Shakti when we say Sat Chit Anand. So the Chit, which is the awareness, and Chid Shakti. So all philosophies are pointing to the same concept which Mahatma Ji has explained here of this Akash. The fifth thing which is coexistent with space, he says it is the Purush or seventh principle of the universe. Okay. Now, seventh principle, the highest plane, that is Paramatma or spirit. Further, the Ling Sharir is composed of the ethereal elements of its organisms. Ethereal elements, meaning the subtle elements, not the physical element. So here Mahatma Ji is speaking of the Linga Sharir of the cosmos. The seventh principle, which is the highest, Linga Sharir of that. Okay. Just as man has his Linga Sharir, so we should understand it by analogy. Just as man has his Linga Sharir in addition to his Sthula Sharir, which is the gross body, this Linga Sharir is the astral body. It is the blueprint or the model for physical body. It never leaves the body, that is the physical body. It will never leave, but only at the time of death, it separates. And then too, it will try to remain near the physical body. So it should be understood that the cosmos or the universe, it also has this Linga Sharir, which is made of the ethereal elements of that Purush, of the cosmic Purush, the macrocosm and the microcosm. So the pupils of the master, they ask, are we to understand Purush as another name for space or as a different thing occupying every part of space? Mahatma Ji says they are same. Purush is another name for space. They are same. That means, further Mahatma Ji is saying that Swayambhu occupies every part of space, which itself is boundless and eternal. Hence, must be space in one sense. So what is Swayambhu? Swayambhu means self-existence. It is not born, it is not created, it is self-existence. What we call as Sat. Sat Chit Anand. Sat means self-existence. That is Swayambhu. And therefore, it is same as space because space is also eternal. Now consider this analogy. It is like water pervading the waves. So water pervading the waves, not as something external, but the waves are water itself. So Swayambhu is space itself. Swayambhu becomes Purush when coming in contact with matter. Now this is what Mahatma Ji is telling. Swayambhu becomes Purush when coming in contact with matter. Purush means, he said, the cosmic Purush, the cosmic manifestation. Purush means pure consciousness. And it can come into manifestation only through the upadhi of matter or substance. Matter is called Prakriti. So Purush and Prakriti. Purush is the subjective aspect and matter or Prakriti is the objective aspect of manifestation. At the highest level or at the seventh plane, there is only the abstraction of Purush and Prakriti. There is actually a very beautiful expression as if Prakriti is saying, without him, I exist not. Without me, he manifests not. So, one cannot exist without the other. This is the truth. Consciousness becomes active only in and through matter. Else, both remain an abstraction, an idea, which is the seventh principle, the highest principle. That is why Mahatma Ji is saying, Swayambhu becomes Purush when coming in contact with matter. Swayambhu is the seventh principle. Purush and Prakriti, they come into active manifestation on the sixth plane. Sixth cosmic plane. Now coming to the next question. Further, the universal mind is the aggregate of all the minds of the Dhyan Chohans or planetaries, the result of the action of Purush on matter, just as the spiritual soul in man is the action of spirit on matter. This is a question posed by the students to the master. And the master says, yes. That's all. His answer is yes. What a cryptic reply. The question itself needed some understanding. So here we should understand what is meant by spiritual soul. In the theosophical literature, spiritual soul is said to mean the Atma Buddhi. In man also it is the Atma Buddhi, that is his spiritual soul. So by the same analogy, the cosmic spiritual soul, it is the seventh and the sixth cosmic principle. Now we were speaking about Swayambhu and Purush and Prakriti. So seventh principle, which is called Swayambhu, that is the one. And the sixth principle is the action of Purush on Prakriti. Okay, it results in cosmic intelligence. That is why it is said intelligence came first, because Swayambhu is just an abstraction. And what comes by the action of Purush and Prakriti is the cosmic intelligence, the sixth principle. So, which means polarization of the one into spirit and matter. It gives rise to cosmic intelligence. Polarization into spirit and matter is Purush and Prakriti, the subjective aspect and the objective aspect. Now, from this sixth principle, from the sixth, cosmic intelligence, from it arises the notion I am. Raman Maharishi's philosophy. Who am I? I am that I am. So this is the cosmic I am, the universal mind, the sum total of the minds of the Dhyan Chohans. Okay. Now moving on to the next question, the ninth one. Are we to look upon the seven principles as all matter and all spirit, one thing, with spirit as it were at one pole and matter at the other? Again, Mahatma Ji says, yes, just so. What does he mean? Yes, just so. The seven principles of man, they have correspondence to different planes of existence. Right? Each plane, it comprises of consciousness, energy, substance. Thus, each plane has the polarity of spirit and matter. The seven principles from the highest one, the seventh principle, Atma, the sixth principle, Buddhi, the fifth principle, Manas, fourth, Kam, third, Pran, second, Linga Sharir, and first, Sthula Sharir. So on the plane of Atma Buddhi, consider that the higher plane, the plane of Atma Buddhi, the spiritual pole is dominant and matter is extremely subtle. And on the lowest plane, on the physical plane, matter is predominant. Matter is predominant as the Sthula Sharir. And spiritual pole, it is very much attenuated. So this is the polarization on each plane. Spirit and matter, they are present on all the planes, but which is more dominant and which is less dominant or attenuated. So accordingly, the principles which are there, which correspond to the planes, they will work. Okay. The 10th question, if so, so to the previous one, Mahatma Ji has answered yes. So the next question arises, if so, if this is the case, then are we to view them as different states of matter or spirit or how? So the students are still confused that how should we understand them? Are they spirit or matter or how should we understand them? So Mahatma Ji tells, states, conditions, call it whatever you please. I call it KN, that is cause. Itself a result of a previous or some primary cause. So what this means, we have to understand, at least with some clarity, how the manifestation or the sequence of manifestation of the cosmos, the 7 principles. In fact, the 7 principles are considered as causes by the Mahatma, and each is itself the result of a previous or a primary cause. What is mentioned in the secret doctrine, that in truth, all the principles are ultimately emanations from the Atma alone. Everything is Atma. Okay. So that's why Mahatma Ji is telling, I call it the cause. It is a result of the previous cause or some primary cause. The next question asks, all matter consists of ultimate molecules. How may we conceive the different states of matter? And the answer given is, as the molecules go on rarefying. So molecules here refers to the particle of matter of that plane, whether it is physical plane, astral plane, or whichever plane. So they are being called molecules, particle of that substance. It goes on rarefying, meaning becoming less dense. So in proportion, they become attenuated. Attenuated meaning the particles are reduced in their force. It means that their vibrations are becoming more and more subtle. And the greater the distance between our globe and them, I do not mean here the region within the reach of your science. That means not physical distance. When he says greater the distance between our globe and them, what it means is that the higher that plane is relative to our physical plane. For example, if we consider vibrations of the mental plane, the higher mental plane, they are very subtle as compared to the matter on physical plane. If you consider the vibrations of the matter on Buddhic plane, they are even more subtle than the mental matter, that they are hardly able to impress anything on the physical matter, that is on the brain cells. So that is the meaning, greater the distance between our globe and them. And that does not mean physical distance, like what science may consider. So as that distance increases, the greater the change in their polarity, the negative pole acquiring a stronger property of repulsion and the positive losing gradually its power of attraction. This we have to understand what it means. Negative repulsion, positive attraction. Now, in theosophy, negative pole means substance or matter, and positive pole is spirit. What it means metaphysically is that as you go higher from physical plane, matter becomes increasingly spiritualized. Spirit and matter are polarities of the one element. So as you go higher, matter is becoming increasingly spiritualized. On the lower planes, matter is made of discrete particles. these are the lower planes. These are called the roop planes, meaning the planes of formative beings and objects. They can take a specific, a definite form, the roop planes, because matter is made of discrete particles. But as you go higher to the higher planes, matter sublimates. It sublimates to become radiation. Radiation cannot take a shape. It cannot be put into a form. Therefore, these are the arupa planes, planes of non-being, because they cannot take any form. And they are everlasting. Those planes are everlasting. These lower planes where you have the rupa planes, they are temporary. Therefore, forms are temporary, transitory. Therefore, they are called phenomenal planes. And the everlasting planes where matter is spiritualized to become radiation, they are everlasting. They are the worlds of reality. But since the likes of Sinnet and Hume, they have more faith in the modern science, Master says that they would most likely consider, as Master is speaking of some very foolish thing, some very foolish doctrine. But it is in fact they who are so foolish so as to believe science and disregard the real occult knowledge. So that is why towards the end of his answer, Master says that now it is time for your men of Digu. So this is a satire. Your men of Digu, meaning the modern scientists, to set me down as a Tibetan ass, some foolish person, and for me to return the compliment. Meaning it is not me, it is you who are not understanding. And with this, we come to the 12th question. So this is a table which was given in which Mahatma Ji has mentioned or explained the 7 principles of man and universe. There are 3 columns. So the term is mentioned in Tibetan, Sanskrit, and English. In the upper half of this page, you can see that the 7 principles of man are given, starting from the lowest, that is the first principle, to the 7th principle. And after that, in the middle of the page, you can see it is mentioned universe. So those below that, the 7 principles of the universe are given. Again, starting from the lowest universal principle to the 7th, which is the highest. Now, I will go through this table and briefly try to explain these terms. We already know the septenary principles of man and the universe. And these Tibetan terms we might not have the exact meaning, but looking at the Sanskrit and the English, we can understand what it means. I request everybody to mute themselves, please. Okay. So I will start with the 7 principles of man, and we will begin with the highest principle, the 7th principle, which is this one, spirit. This 7th principle in man, it is in Tibetan, it is that name I am not able to pronounce. It is self-existing. So we said in the previous slide, self-existence, Swayambhu. That is the highest principle or the 7th principle. It is in English, we call that spirit, or here it is mentioned as Mahatma. Basically, it is Atma, Mahatma, the great Atma. The 6th principle of man, which is the spiritual soul. Atma Buddhi becomes the spiritual soul. So it is the Atma's Mayavi Roop. The 6th one, okay? The Atma's Mayavi Roop. Why it is Atma's Mayavi Roop? Because Atma takes upadhi of Buddhi, of substance. Atma is abstract. It can manifest only by taking a upadhi of substance. So that substance is acting as a Mayavi Roop. That is the spiritual soul, Atma Buddhi of man. Then we go to the 5th principle, which is Mahatma Ji is calling as physical ego. This is the Mansik principle, the 5th principle. Mansik principle is the individual ego, the real man, Atma Buddhi Manas. He calls it as the Ling Deha Bhut. Why Ling Deha Bhut? Because it is the I-ness of the subtle body. The subtle body, which is the Linga Deha. It has this feeling, I am. So it is that I-ness. in the Vedantic classification, it is called the Ahankar. Okay, that Ahankar is basically the I-ness, I am, I exist. And that exists in this Linga Deh, the, what is it, the subtle body. And the same Mansik principle, here he has termed it as animal soul. Animal soul, why? Because when the Mansik principle comes under the desire, under the influence of desire or calm, it becomes the lower manas, which is the animal soul. So this physical ego, linga dehbhut, animal soul, it is all pertaining to the fifth principle of man. Then coming to the fourth principle. The fourth principle, it is essence of action. Essence of action, which is, what is essence of action? It is desire. When there is a desire, then there is action. So therefore it is called Kam Roop. Kam is desire. It is the will form. Okay. It is due to the will, which in coming lower to the personality, it becomes desire or calm. So therefore it is Kam Roop or will form. The third principle of man. It is one of the three aims, which is called Linga Sharir or the astral body. So this I-ness which is there, it wants to exist or survive. Therefore, it takes on this subtle body, the Linga Sharir. And this Linga Sharir, it is animated by the life principle, which is the second principle, the vital ray. So that is called Pran or Jivatma. That Linga Sharir, it is becoming vital and active by this Pran. So it is alive and existing. That becomes the Jivatma, Pran. Okay, that is basically the life principle. Now see, all these principles we are talking about in man, and microcosm is same as macrocosm. So we'll see in the universe also the same 7 principles. So life principle, that is Pran, it is the second principle in man. And obviously the lowest or the first principle is the physical body, which is called Roop, which can actually be seen. So it is called Roop. Now Theosophy teaches that the law, it is as above, so below. Man is the microcosm and universe is the macrocosm. So principles of man, they correspond to the principles of the universe. And now we'll consider the septenary principles of the universe. Here he has given universe. And again, we will begin from the highest principle, which is the 7th. So here, this one is the 7th principle. The 7th principle in Tibetan, it is called duration in eternity or space. Swayambhu, which we had seen in the previous slides. Swayambhu, self-existence, which is same as eternal space. It is the latent spirit, Ein Sof. So 7th principle, it is basically the abstraction of spirit matter. Okay, and it is eternal. The 6th principle, it is uncreated principle. Uncreate means anupadak. So the 7th plane, which was termed Adi in the Theosophical literature, this 6th plane or the 6th principle is uncreate principle. It is the plane of the anupadak. Okay. And in Sanskrit, it is called as Narayan. In the Secret Doctrine, Madame Blavatsky has mentioned Narayan, the spirit brooding over the waters and reflecting in itself. There's nothing out of it. It is reflecting in itself, the universe. So universe is a appearance in the self of the one. In this term Narayan, it has a very interesting meaning. Nar has 2 meanings. It refers to water, as in Apah. Okay. And it also refers to human being, Nar, Nari. So Nar means man. And the term is Narayan. So the other second half, Ayan. Ayan means abode or place of refuge. Narayan. Narayan is said to be the one who resides in the waters, or the one who is the refuge of all living beings, that is Vishnu. So this is the cosmic Vishnu, which is Mahavishnu. That is the sixth principle, sixth cosmic principle. This should be understood, at least, by really thinking about it. This is exactly what is said by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, when he says that he is the one in whom the universe exists and dissolves back again. So this principle, which is called as Narayan, the spirit brooding over the waters and reflecting in itself the universe. And this is what becomes the universal mind when the notion of I am arises. It is the universal mind. The fifth principle, fifth universal principle, is called as ether passive. This is the spiritual Akash. The same thing, this ether passive, it is called Yagya, latent form in Brahma. Latent form in Brahma. That means the Purush determined by the illusion activity of number 4. We will come to number 4. So this is the Purush which is determined by that activity which comes in the fourth principle. And this is called Yagya. Now if you try to connect the dots, see what is the meaning of Yagya. Yagya is latent in Brahma. It is mentioned here, latent form in Brahma. And the Rig Ved says in the Purush Sukta of the Rig Ved, it is described the primordial Purush sacrifices himself to create the universe and all the beings. So sacrifice is Yagya. What is being sacrificed? The one, the primordial Purush that is being sacrificed. One becomes the many. So that is the sacrifice of the one. That is Yagya. And the many come into being by the word, Shabda Brahma. The word, in the beginning existed the word and the word was with God, says the Christian line of thought. The Hindu philosophy or the Vedantic thought says it is the Shabda Brahma, the word. That is the fourth. That brings the word or this Vak. That is the fourth principle given here, Vak. So that word, it comes through cosmic will. Okay. And this is the activity number 4. So this Adi Purush or the heavenly man, Adi Purush meaning the primordial man or the heavenly man, understand that is the 7th, 6th and 5th cosmic principle. Just like for individual human being, we say that Atma Buddhi Manas is the real man. Okay, so by analogy, understand that the cosmic 7th, 6th and 5th principle, that is the real heavenly man. And it is also an illusion which is created by the cosmic will itself. Because that cosmic will is what causes the one to become many. What is the cosmic will? Again, coming to the Vedas, the cosmic will is Ekoham Bahusayam. I am one, I wish to be many. So that is what is called as, you look what is given here as Viraj. So we are on the 5th cosmic principle, Yagya, that is called Viraj. Viraj is universal illusion. So basically there is only Swayambhu, but this cosmic illusion, the universal illusion of that Purush acting through Prakriti, the cosmic intelligence that I am one, I wish to be many. So that is the universal illusion. And Viraj means expansion. Expansion means to grow. So it is the primal Purush which has expanded as the lower differentiated planes, as the 5 cosmic elements. And that universal illusion is I am this. So the phenomenal universe comes into being and the cosmic illusion is I am this. So that is what is Yagya. The one becomes many. Then coming to the fourth principle, I will just complete these universal principles and then we can bring our session to a stop. We will need to go for the Hindi translation. So the fourth principle, it is light, the shining, active, astral light. Now see please note the fifth principle, it was given as passive ether. And the fourth principle is given as active astral light. Okay. So this is an active principle. Active principle is the word, the vak, the energy. The word is creative. Therefore, Kam Akash. It has this desire to create, Kam Akash. It is the cosmic will, the will or the energy to create. So that becomes the fourth cosmic principle, the will to create. The fourth cosmic principle is nothing, basically it is Fohat, the energy to create. And then the third cosmic principle, which is illusion. It is illusion, it is Maya or Akash. Again, Akash is coming. Akash has 7 differentiations. So one should not be confused why Akash is there on so many planes. Okay. This Akash, it is the astral or the cosmic atmosphere. It corresponds to the cosmic Linga Sharir. Astral or cosmic atmosphere. This is the cosmic Linga Sharir. Third principle. Second principle is the vital soul, which is the Pran. Okay. So that means the subtle body or the astral body of the cosmos, it becomes alive with that vital principle, which is Purush or the vital Pran. It is the vivifying universal spirit. The vivifying universal spirit. That is why the universe is a living organism. Okay, there is life. The heavenly man, he is a living organism and we all are cells in his body. And the first cosmic principle, that is the animated universe. Earth as an element. So the Pancha Tattva, out of that the Prithvi Tattva. So that is, Prithvi Tattva is solidity. It does not mean only our earth. Every physical thing which we can see, that comes under Prithvi Tattva. So it includes the stars and the planets which we can see on the physical plane. Okay, so that is the manifested Brahma. Because this universe, every particle of the universe, it is Brahma. So Brahma, the universe, Prakriti, which is matter, Iyam, meaning this earth. And this is all organized matter. This matter is Prakriti, Iyam, meaning the earth, organized matter. So these are the septenary principles of the universe. And again, I will give a reference to Bhagavad Gita. When Sri Krishna shows his Vishwaroop, it is basically this, the first principle of the universe. That is his Vishwaroop. Okay. So thank you very much. We will continue the remaining part in the next session. And now I
request Sushma ji to give the Hindi translation.
थैंक यू विभा जी, थैंक यू विमल जी आपके प्रस्तुति के लिए। अब मैं हिंदी अनुवाद प्रस्तुत कर रही हूँ। मैं लेटर फ्रॉम ब्लेवेट्स्की टू एपी सेनेट का अपेंडिक्स 2 के पहले भाग का अनुवाद प्रस्तुत कर रही हूँ। यह पत्र जनवरी 1882 के अंक में प्रकाशित है, जिसमें एपी सेनेट एवं एओ ह्यूम द्वारा मास्टर से प्रश्न पूछे गए हैं तथा बोल्ड लेटर्स में मास्टर से प्राप्त प्रश्नों के उत्तर मेंशन किए गए हैं। पहला प्रश्न है, पूछते हैं एपी सेनेट, ज्ञान के विविध प्रकार क्या है? मास्टर उत्तर देते हैं, पहला प्रकार वास्तविक यानी दिग्यु और दूसरा अवास्तविक यानी दिग्युमी है। दिग्यु अपनी क्रियाशीलता में फोहत बन जाता है, यानी संकल्प शक्ति का सक्रिय कारक विद्युत, उसका और कोई अन्य नाम नहीं है। दूसरा प्रश्न है, दोनों प्रकार के ज्ञान में क्या अंतर है? मास्टर उत्तर देते हैं, वास्तविक ज्ञान शाश्वत सत्यों और मूल कारणों से संबंधित है। अवास्तविक ज्ञान केवल भ्रामक प्रभावों से संबंधित है। वास्तविक ज्ञान मनुष्य के विश्वास या अविश्वास से स्वतंत्र है। अवास्तविक ज्ञान के लिए विश्वास की आवश्यकता होती है। यह प्राधिकार या अथॉरिटी पर आधारित है। तीसरा प्रश्न है, वास्तविक ज्ञान किसके पास है? मास्टर उत्तर देते हैं, केवल न्यास या सिद्ध की वास्तविक ज्ञान को धारण करते हैं। उनका मन विश्व मन के साथ एकाकार होता है। एक लास या सिद्ध अपनी आत्मा को विश्व मन के साथ पूर्णता में संयुक्त कर लेता है। यही उसे उस समय के लिए परम पूर्ण की बुद्धि एवं प्राकृतिक नियमों के ज्ञान या दिग्यु वास्तविक ज्ञान के क्षेत्र में विद्यमान उस सिद्ध को एक दिव्य प्राणी बनाता है। और एक प्रोफेन यानी जो एक अपवित्र या अशुद्ध व्यक्ति है, यानी डेगमा, शुद्ध ज्ञान का अधिकारी नहीं बन सकता, क्योंकि उसके पास छग, उत्पत्ति या वस्तुओं के उद्भव को समझने के साधन नहीं होते। चौथा प्रश्न है, क्या मूल कारणों और उनके अंत्य प्रभावों के बीच कोई अंतर है? मास्टर उत्तर देते हैं, नहीं, कोई अंतर नहीं है। गुप्त ब्रह्मांड सभी मूल कारणों को समाहित करता है। सब कुछ दो सिद्धांतों पर आधारित है। पहला ब्रह्मांडीय ऊर्जा यानी थोहत या प्रज्ञान की श्वास, और दूसरा है ब्रह्मांडीय विचार यानी कॉस्मिक आइडेशन। ब्रह्मांडीय ऊर्जा को सही दिशा में प्रेरणा करता है। पृथ्वी पर जो कुछ भी परम पूर्ण के रूप में विद्यमान है, वह प्राइमेट यानी आदिम या आरंभिक रूप में थोहत में विद्यमान है। पांचवा प्रश्न है, ब्रह्मांड में एक शाश्वत वस्तु क्या है जो अन्य सभी वस्तुओं से स्वतंत्र है? मास्टर उत्तर देते हैं कि आकाश। छठा प्रश्न है, कौन सी चीज अंतरिक्ष के साथ सह अस्तित्व में है? इसका उत्तर है, पहला कालावधि, दूसरा है पदार्थ, तीसरा है गति, क्योंकि यह गति अविनाशी जीवन है। विद इन ब्रैकेट, चैतन्य या अचेतन जो भी हो, चाहे पदार्थ का, यहाँ तक कि प्रलय या मन की रात्रि में भी यह गति रहती है। जब च्यांग या यानी सर्वज्ञता या च्यांग मी शी खून अज्ञानता दोनों ही सो जाते हैं, तब भी वह मोशन, वह गति, सुप्त अचेतन जीवन उस पदार्थ को बनाए रखता है, जिसे वह निद्राहीन निरंतर गति में भी सजीव रखता है या किए रहता है। फिर आकाश के संबंध में कहते हैं कि आकाश यानी बार नांग, यह ब्रह्मांडीय वायुमंडल या सूक्ष्म प्रकाश या आकाशीय ईथर जो अपनी सुप्त या सक्रिय अवस्था में भी सभी गतिशील पदार्थों को घेरे रहता है और उनमें व्याप्त रहता है, जिनका वह एक परिणाम भी है और माध्यम भी, जिसके द्वारा ब्रह्मांडीय ऊर्जा अपने स्रोत पर कार्य करती है। इसी का पांचवा भाग है, पुरुष व ब्रह्मांड का सातवां सिद्धांत यानी लिंग शरीर अपने शरीर के ईथर के तत्वों से बना है और वह मृत्यु के समय के अलावा कभी शरीर नहीं छोड़ता और हमेशा निकट रहता है। सातवां प्रश्न है, क्या हमें पुरुष को आकाश का दूसरा नाम समझना चाहिए या आकाश के प्रत्येक भाग में व्याप्त एक भिन्न वस्तु के रूप में? मास्टर उत्तर देते हैं कि वह वही स्वयंभू यानी सेल्फ एग्जिस्टेंट आकाश के प्रत्येक भाग में व्याप्त है, जो स्वयं असीम एवं शाश्वत है। इसलिए एक अर्थ में यह आकाशी होना चाहिए। स्वयंभू पदार्थ के संपर्क में आने पर पुरुष बन जाता है। आठवां प्रश्न है, विश्व मन ध्यान चौहान या ग्रहों के सभी मनों का समुच्चय है? क्या समुच्चय है जो पुरुष का पदार्थ पर क्रिया का परिणाम है? ठीक उसी प्रकार जैसे मनुष्य में स्थित आध्यात्मिक आत्मा पदार्थ पर आत्मा की क्रिया है। गुरुदेव का संक्षिप्त उत्तर है, हाँ, ऐसा ही है। नवा प्रश्न है, क्या हमें सात सिद्धांतों को समस्त पदार्थ और समस्त आत्मा के रूप में देखना चाहिए? एक ही वस्तु जिसके एक ध्रुव पर आत्मा है और दूसरे पर पदार्थ? मास्टर उत्तर देते हैं कि हाँ, बिल्कुल ऐसा ही है। मनुष्य के 7 शरीर 7 लोगों से संबंधित हैं। और प्रश्न 10वां, यदि ऐसा है तो क्या हमें उन्हें पदार्थ या आत्मा की विभिन्न अवस्थाओं के रूप में देखना चाहिए और कैसे? उत्तर है अवस्थाएं, स्थितियां, इसे आप जो चाहे कहें। मैं इसे केन कहता हूं। कारण स्वयं ही किसी पूर्व या किसी प्रारंभिक कारण का परिणाम है। 11वां प्रश्न है, क्या सभी पदार्थ परम अणुओं से बने होते हैं? हम पदार्थ के विभिन्न अवस्थाओं की कल्पना कैसे कर सकते हैं? गुरुदेव का उत्तर है कि जैसे जैसे अणु यानी मॉलिक्यूल्स विरल होते हैं, वैसे वैसे वे क्षीण होते जाते हैं और हमारे ग्रह और उनके बीच की दूरी जितनी बढ़ती जाती है, विद इन ब्रैकेट, वो कहते हैं यहाँ मेरा आशय आपके विज्ञान की पहुंच के भीतर के क्षेत्र से नहीं है, उनकी ध्रुवता यानी उनकी पोलैरिटी में उतना ही अधिक परिवर्तन होता है जैसे ऋणात्मक ध्रुव या नेगेटिव पोल प्रतिकर्षण का अधिक प्रबल गुण प्राप्त कर लेता है, यानी रिपल्शन का अधिक प्रबल गुण प्राप्त कर लेता है, और धनात्मक ध्रुव यानी पॉजिटिव पोल धीरे धीरे आकर्षण शक्ति खो देता है। मास्टर कहते हैं कि अब समय आ गया है कि आपके दिग्यु यानी वास्तविक ज्ञान के लोग मुझे एक तिब्बती जो है वो गर्दभ की तरह नीचा दिखाएं और मैं भी उनकी प्रशंसा का उत्तर दूं। 12वां प्रश्न, जिसमें एक ही पृष्ठ पर जो है वह विभिन्न शरीरों का और विभिन्न लोकों का अनुक्रम दिया गया है, जिसमें पहला जो टेबल है वो तिब्बतियन जो है वो लैंग्वेज में है, दूसरा संस्कृत में है और तीसरा अंग्रेजी में। मैं उसका सिर्फ संस्कृत वर्जन प्रस्तुत करूंगी क्योंकि अभी विभा जी ने बहुत विस्तार से इसके संबंध में जानकारी दी है। तो सबसे पहले हम इस संस्कृत वर्जन में 7वें से उल्लेख करते हैं कि महात्मा, पहला है महात्मा, दूसरा है आत्मन यानी आध्यात्मिक आत्मा यानी मायावी रूप, तीसरा है लिंग देहभूत यानी अहंकार, चौथा है काम रूप यानी डिजायर बॉडी, पांचवा है लिंग शरीर एस्ट्रल बॉडी, छठा है प्राण शरीर और सातवां है फिजिकल बॉडी या स्थूल शरीर। अब यूनिवर्स के संबंध में भी 3 टेबल्स दी गई हैं। पहला टिबेटियन वर्जन में लैंग्वेज में, दूसरा संस्कृत में और तीसरा अंग्रेजी में। मैं हिंदी वाला प्रस्तुत कर रही हूँ। 7वां जो है स्वयंभू, छठा है नारायण, पांचवा है यज्ञ, चौथा है वाच, पांचवा है माया, छठा है पुरुष और छठा है पुरुष और सातवां है प्रकृति, सॉरी, छठा है प्रकृति और पांचवा है ब्रह्म। इस तरह से मास्टर्स ने विभिन्न शरीरों का विभिन्न लोकों का अनुक्रम 12वें प्रश्न के उत्तर में दिया है। ये समाप्त होता है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Sushma ji. Thank you, Vibha ji. So now we open up for any questions or additions. This was a very tough thing. I mean, congratulations to Vibha ji for attempting it. And I think it's also a little confusing personally for me because obviously the principles are named differently. So now, for us to correlate that, that is one thing. The second aspect that I find a little confusing is the entire concept of it all, because when they say that Swayambhu is in space, but it's not in the matter of space, it is in just space. Swayambhu is also matter and spirit. The whole thing is very difficult to grasp in my head. Anyway, I won't trouble you with that. Request Shinde ji, if you would like to add something to this, it would be helpful for everybody.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Vibhaji. Very nicely explained. It is
Thank you, sir.
nice to listen. Very informative, very systematic. Both of you, Sushma and yourself. Even Hindi was also very nice. Step by step, all questions and all that. As Vimalji said, still it is confusing. Yes, theosophy is confusing. As you study more and more, go deeper and deeper, you go on understanding step by step. When you read the secret doctrine, cosmology or anthropogenesis and cosmogenesis, it is difficult to understand. Sure, good thing that you feel it is difficult. Good thing that you are saying that it is a little bit confusing. So theosophy is not for the ignorant people. It is only for those who are highly intellectual and trying to understand deeper and deeper into the matter. When we listen to such kind of informative lectures, it is of course AP Sinnet has asked a question and Master has replied, and AP Sinnet would understand all this. So what we are told, rather advised, as the earnest members of the Theosophical Society, to endure and learn, beginning with the pronouncing the divine word Om, either when you go to the bed or immediately when you wake up. This is the practicality. It is this Shabda Brahma that takes you to understand many things. And when Vibhaji said fourth is a great word given by the Theosophy. Fourth in Theosophy is a cosmic energy that pervades whole universe. It is also universal electricity. It is also magnetic force. It is also universal life force. And basically, it is a creative energy. We are more concerned with the creative energy, more concerned with the creation. But this fourth is a mediator between spirit and matter. Again, we contact it with the spirit and matter as a mediator. So when you get confused, remember that fourth is a mediator between spirit and matter. So its role is to shape, to guide, and energize all that is manifested, from the smallest particle to the vast expanse of space. So when you asked what is that in that space, that Swayambhu, all energy, this comes to this seventh etheric, fourth, what we say. It is a fundamental concept in understanding the mysteries of existence and mainly interconnectedness. So if we keep this in mind and listen to what Theosophy has explained and what Vibhaji has put before us, is really interesting, and to listen carefully. Let us understand it step by step. That is what I want to say at this contest, not to explaining anything. What I have understood and what we are advised to do, that I put before you. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Vibhaji. Thank you, Sushma. Thank you, Malji. All Triveni.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
विभाजी एक
Shaktis.
क्वेश्चन है
All Triveni Shaktis.
Yes, yes, sir, you have something to say?
यस वन
Yes.
स्मॉल क्वेश्चन विभाजी से
हाँ जी.
विभाजी ये छठा प्रिंसिपल आपने बताया अनुपादक
Yes.
अनक्रिएट तो
Yes.
इसका फंक्शन क्या है और ये अग्नि स्वरूप बताया आपने जैसे ऋग्वेद का पहला ही मंत्र है अग्निमीड़े पुरोहितम यज्ञस्य देव मृत्युजम क्या ये उससे रिलेटेड है
वो मंत्र के बारे में तो मैं नहीं जानती हूँ, बट आई कैन टेल यू दिस. द सिक्स्थ कॉस्मिक प्रिंसिपल, it is said that the seventh one is abstract, it is Swayambhu, and the action of Purush on Prakriti, through that only it can become active or manifested. So that becomes the seventh principle. See, Purush and Prakriti, they are latent or they are abstract in that one principle, Swayambhu. And now when the manifestation is happening, the cosmic manifestation, so then these two principles come into play, the polarity of Purush and Prakriti. And Purush acting through Prakriti, it becomes the cosmic intelligence. So in theosophical terms, it is termed as cosmic intelligence in terms of In the Vedantic term, it is termed as Narayan. Narayan on the waters of the deep. Right? So, intelligence came first. This is why it is said, because from the abstract, this was the first thing which emanated. It is golden. See, sixth principle is buddhi. Buddhi is golden. It is the chinmay padartha. Chit and chit shakti. So it is the chinmay padartha, substance. That is why it is golden. I will not be able to explain the relation to Agni, but Agni is also a very spiritual emanation, one of the highest. In the Panchamahabhut, though it is in terms of emanation, it comes as third, but actually it is even higher than Vayu in terms of spirituality. So you are right over there.
Vibhaji, I always thought that motion was the same as consciousness when they use the word motion. Am I wrong or right in that?
So here it has been clearly mentioned, motion is, it is the one life which keeps matter, which sustains matter during pralay as well as manifestation. So it is that one life. It is you can say it is an aspect of the seventh. Even during pralay, matter is not disintegrated. It is maintained.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, that one life, see, we can understand only in terms of polarities. So subjective aspect or consciousness aspect, we can associate motion with that. Okay. But
Also, when you, sorry, continue. Please continue.
it is pervading matter. So consciousness and matter, or spirit and matter, they are not separate. Okay. That is why I gave the example of the wave and water. Okay. Wave is water itself. So that one life, that is matter itself. That is why it is pervading matter, and that is why it sustains that matter, whether it is in pralay or whether it is in manifest state.
It is consciousness,
Mm,
in a way. No.
They are one and the same.
It's
See,
one and the same.
polarities arise only in manifestation.
Oh, okay.
Right? Polarities arise only during manifestation. Otherwise, they both are one. There is only the unity. So you can say consciousness, you can say matter. It is the one life. That is motion.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it better. Maybe Shinde sir can say something.
No, it's two sides of the same coin. That has been said. That's
Yes.
okay. But the word is motion, so that I always associate with consciousness. But you're saying that matter includes consciousness. It is, and motion is a one life. So one life is pervading through this matter. Is how you are interpreting this thing. Okay, I think in the Zambian section they have this wonderful tradition of saying the golden stairs at the end or the beginning of a meeting, and I have. Jitendra ji, who's from the Zambian section. Sir, would you like to unmute and say the golden stairs?
Yeah.
It'll be nice to end this.
Which line you want?
All of it.
Oh, you want to say now?
No, I'm saying Jitendra ji. Because I've heard in the Zambian section, they have this custom of saying the golden stairs, like we say the universal invocation. They say the golden stairs.
Oh.
As an ending prayer.
Okay. I can say
Jitendra
golden
ji,
stair, no problem.
you can say
Vibhaji also can say.
Sir, Shinde ji.
Vibhaji, let Vibhaji say, because she must end it. Yes, Vibhaji, you can say.
Sir, I have to open that. I don't have it in front of me.
Otherwise, I will stay. No problem.
Yes, please.
A clean life, an open mind, a pure heart, an eager intellect, an unveiled spiritual perception, a brotherliness for one's co-disciple, a readiness to give and receive advice and instructions, a loyal sense of duty to the teacher, a willing obedience to the behest of truth, once we have placed our confidence in and believe that teacher to be in possession of it, a courageous endurance of personal injustice, a brave declaration of principles, a valiant defense of those who are unjustly attacked, and a constant eye to the ideal of human progression and perfection, which the secret science depicts. These are the golden stairs, up the steps of which a learner may climb to the temple of divine wisdom. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.